Thanks for tuning in to Real Lions Talk, and I'm your host, Sadell Lewis. Today, I have with me Mrs. Melinda Larkins Kohler in honor of her son, Nehemiah Jones. How you doing today, Miss Melinda?
Fine. How are you, Sadell?
I'm good. Today is Nehemiah's birthday. How old would he have been today?
He would have been making 32 today.
Okay, we're talking about the murder of her son, Nehemiah. Going back to the day that he was murdered, can you remember like yesterday getting a phone call or knock on the door? Or what happened that day?
Well, the day he was murdered, he had been at a repast for his cousin Megan, Washington funeral and repast. He stayed up the street all day. Later on that night, me and my husband was up praying, and it had to be before 12 because I remember looking at the clock, and it was before 12 o'clock. And me and my husband was saying our Father, and while we were saying our Father, we heard 2 shots. And after we heard the 2 shots, we just heard pow, 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 like a bunch of shots. Mm-hmm. So I look at my husband look at me. I said, babe, we need to get up and go check, because that's too close to home.
Yeah. So
my husband said, oh, it was probably somebody shooting, hunting or something. So we just dismissed it. So like maybe 3-4 minutes after that, between 3 and 5 minutes, my phone started ringing. So I'm like, my phone ringing this time of the night, but my mind clicked on my mother, that they was calling to tell me my mother, was sick.
Never imagined.
Never dozed on me. It was one of my children. So the phone just kept ringing. Everybody kept trying to call me, but I couldn't get in touch with nobody. Every time I tried to call, the phone would be busy. So I'm like, somebody gonna call me sooner or later. So next thing, we had got up and put our robes on. The doorbell rung. So when the doorbell rung, I hurry and went to the door, and that was my sister. Ingrid said, Melinda, hurry and get to the hospital. They said Nehemiah been shot and it didn't look good. So when she told me that, I was like froze.
Like, what went through your mind? What was going through your mind at that time? Like,
when she said how bad, you're going to mind thinking it was too bad, or some people might exaggerate. Something small might be, they might say it's big, but it's something small. But I was so nervous, I didn't even know what to put on.
So
how to put on things.
So how you got to the hospital?
When I got to the hospital, I was going to drive, but my husband wound up driving.
Okay.
But the while we left Pankerville to the appointment flight, it had been hours.
A 5-minute drive.
There? Yes.
It felt like hours.
Felt like hours.
So when you pulled up at the hospital, was he there at the hospital already, or was he?
He was at the hospital already.
Okay, so when you went in, what happened?
When I went in, everybody was crying, but I hadn't got the notice that he was dead yet. So I walked in. Me and my husband walked in. And I looked. My niece Quintina was crying over him, crying over Nehemiah's body, laying on the bed. And I'm like, can't be. And that's when they told me, yeah, Melinda, he passed.
Okay, so after that, after leaving the hospital and everything, like, did the police come to the hospital and tell you anything at the hospital? Did you get answers then or later?
They had policemen already at the hospital. The policeman was there, I guess, to watch the body and, make sure the crowd be calm. Mm-hmm. And we just know he was shot, but I don't even remember if they had said who shot him or what, but I did find out it was in Greenboro. I found that out.
At the hospital?
At the hospital.
So, okay, following that, did you get any answers, before the funeral, like how you dealt with that going into his funeral and stuff? Matter of fact, how did you even deal with the fact that he was murdered?
It was hard on me because I could see you, hear you, but I couldn't respond. That's how bad off it hit me. Everybody grieved different, and that was the way that I grieved. I could hear you, see you, but I couldn't respond.
So you couldn't respond?
That was like people say a stab in the heart. Mm-hmm. Hard, it hit me hard because it was a sudden death. It wasn't a death that you expect when people sick a long time. You could prepare yourself. This was quick. And that's the way I suffered.
So like before the funeral, like did you get any sleep any days, or how did you deal with that?
No, I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep at all. I didn't sleep. I had to go to the doctor because I was having chest pains and stuff. So I had to go to the doctor, make sure everything was all right. And I had never suffered with no chest pains the way I was feeling then. But the doctor said, put me on sedatives.
Mm-hmm.
And it took maybe a few days before I did doze off to sleep. But when I did doze off to sleep, I'll hurry up and jump back up because my mind would fall on him. But it was days that I didn't sleep, days that I didn't eat.
What about after the funeral? Did you have a little relief, or were you able to sleep at all after, like in that sudden, like right following like the funeral?
I stayed up all that day. I stayed up all that day from the funeral. I didn't go to the repast because the doctor had told me, you can go to the funeral, it's all right. But if you start sweating and your heart start, your chest start hurting and your heart start beating fast, mm-hmm. He would rather for me not to go because they could be burying me.
Right, because then you at risk of having a heart attack because you're heartbroken.
Yes.
Because you don't have your son.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that's correct.
How did things go? Like, did you ever find out? Find out how he was murdered or what happened? What was the situation?
Well, we hadn't heard from the sheriff deputy. They came and they told us who it was and how it was supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. And they responded that it could have happened different ways.
Uh-huh.
That he could have had his hand up saying, no, don't shoot. Or he could have been trying to shoot somebody. But to me, I don't think that was true. And I'm just being honest. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was true. The paperwork shows what happened. I don't want to get in too much of details about it because I don't want to uproar nobody.
Yeah.
But the paperwork showed certain stuff from the autopsy. Mm-hmm. And what showed on the paperwork wasn't to me right from what they said happened. And it was conflicting stories when they got there. From the person that did the shooting, he was saying different things and how it happened. And they say that they had shot each other.
So was he alone there? Or was he with someone else?
No, he wasn't there alone. He had went to get his cousin. I'm not gonna call her name, but he just went over there to get his cousin. He was home, and they kept calling, and he said, "Let me go get this boy from over there," So he had went over there just to go get him
to defuse the situation.
Yeah, to get him from around that. From the area because they had told him earlier leave that alone. So
did you ever talk to his cousin afterwards?
Yeah, it took a while for me to talk to the cousin.
Did he ever come to you or and try to give you anything like as far as what happened, or did he even know how to approach you, or you felt like he didn't know how to approach you?
He didn't know how to approach me, and everything was still under investigation. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to hound him too much. Mm-hmm. But one day he did come talk to me, my husband, and say, he was sorry that Nehemiah was dead, and he talked to us, and we just left it like that. But I had to look at it different ways.
Right.
See, the ways I had to look at it, yes, Nehemiah was a grown man. Mm-hmm. And I love my child. Mm-hmm. But they portrayed him as a thug. And I know, Nehemiah was not a thug.
Not at all.
He had a kind heart. Mm-hmm. He would give you whatever his last.
Right.
He wasn't a person like they portrayed.
Right. Him
as being a thug. Just because they say dirty third, in the tattoos, people figure that's thugs. No, that's not thugs.
Right. It's just a part of his culture.
Yeah, it's just a part of what he emphasized. And a part of the
way, that he lived his life. Far as him being a rapper and stuff like that. But you have people that don't rap and not in the streets that also have tattoos hang with crowds and, just love on people, however the situation may be. Do you feel like you got justice from?
No. I'll be honest, no. No justice. And I don't care who get mad.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's not, no justice was done, but all I can do is keep praying.
Right.
Because you see, that is a God that I serve.
Mm-hmm.
It may not come now. It may take a little longer. It may take longer. But eventually, the truth will come out.
That's right.
God gonna pin it on somebody's heart and mind, and He's gonna get to some people.
So, from what his cousin told you, do you feel like what they portrayed is what happened? Like from what the cousin told you that he was with, do you feel like what he told you was what happened?
The only difference the only thing I seen was that I don't believe the gun. I don't believe that he tried to shoot nobody. I don't believe that people that said something happened like this, the truth wasn't told. See, people don't know Melinda. They think they know Melinda, but people don't know Melinda. I could tell things to people that I see in the vision. I could be right here and see something, and tell people they laugh at it. Some people take heed and take a warning.
Right.
I want to go to people that God say go to.
That's right.
God let me know who not to go to, and He does that for a reason. But it didn't happen the way they see. I knew all about it, but the end part I didn't know. With him dying,
right?
God didn't let me handle that part and see that part.
Right.
I'm not scared to see it. I see things. Yes, I do see things, and it wasn't. And that's why I said from the day till the day I died, I will not believe he tried to shoot nobody. I will not say people told the truth, because the truth wasn't told.
And the truth will set you free.
It will.
So, like today is his birthday. How you dealt with today and last year for his birthday with him not being here?
The first year after he died, I was still rowdy. Keep thinking about him not being here. We went to the grave and we did a balloon release. Every year is a little ease that I can quit. The next year is a little better. But I dread the birthdays and the holidays, because Nehemiah would come to me and say, Mama, and this is how we used to clown and do. He would say, Mama, I'm not working right now. Mama, I need some money. I'm like, boy, you need money. And he would say, Mama, yeah, I want to go to the store and get something for you. And I say, you want to go get something for me? And I say, okay, Nehemiah. And I just give him the card. And he would say, well, Mama, how much can I spend? And I would tell him how much. But that was Nehemiah. He knew he didn't have no money, but he knew, I'm going to ask my mama so I can satisfy my mama. When he did have money, trust me, he took care of his little son. He looked at her like, they dressed her like. That was his pet peeve at the time.
You have a relationship with his children now?
Cage good, because I found out about Cage about a year and a half after.
Oh, okay.
And then I found out about the other little girl, right, maybe October or November before he died. Because she was on like 2 or 3 months.
Nova.
Yeah, and they have Nova. Nova was born in June.
Oh, okay. Dealing with January 5th, like when that day come around, how does it make
I dread
you
it
feel?
because at night it's like, I want to be sleeping and I don't want to be sleeping. And I keep thinking about that night over and over. I will not forget about it.
Was it ever any time that you felt like you were mad at God because of what happened, or you felt like you didn't get the answers that you needed, so and God failed you, or did you like how did you, with your relationship with God, being human, how did you, feel towards God in those times?
I didn't really question God, because I look at it like this: when it's time for us to go, it's time for us to go. Mm-hmm. If it was 12:51 when you died, he could have been at home. Mm-hmm. He could have been sitting on the steps outside. He could have been driving a car. Mm-hmm. He could have been sleeping. And if it was 12:51, he was going to go. But I had to emphasize, although that God do send the Holy Spirit to us to tell us not to do something.
Right.
So I had to look at it in different ways. Mm-hmm. I really couldn't question God why. I just wanted to know what happened. How it happened.
Yeah.
Who was involved like that.
A lot of times, I know a lot of times, I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of times people, say that, they was mad at God for some time because they had, they was dealing with that self, with they self at moments. What do you feel like it is that keep you pushing, keep you going?
What keeps me going? My husband, God for sure, because God has me here. Nobody but God. Mm-hmm. I have to keep my strength. Sometimes I want to do, sometimes I don't want to do. My children, my grandchildren, in the faith, in the love, in the trust I have for God. See, some people don't realize we leave God. God don't never leave us.
That's right. He stays in the same place.
He stays there.
Yeah.
Always with us, even through trying times like this. I knew God was there. I definitely knew God was there.
Yes, indeed.
See, it's hard to explain. Some people closer to God, some people not.
Right.
And I was real powerful with God, but I didn't let this stop me or dampen me. My dampen was the support. When somebody died, people need to comfort you. But not to go there to see what's going on, but just to comfort you, give you a few words, not to drag things on. And that's the way it was.
You felt like people was just coming around to see, what happened? And
I really didn't, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't have too many people coming around. A few of my nieces, my son and them came. The thing that hurt me, my pastor didn't even come and check up on me, not one time, because of the rumors they had out there in the streets.
Everybody thought you didn't want anybody around and stuff like that, or you just wanted time to yourself, or what was it?
No, they were saying that my husband, but it wasn't my husband. It was rumors, I'm not going to get into the rumors, but it was rumors. But the people that was my true friends came and checked on me. And if they wasn't there, they left a note or something saying they was trying to get in touch with me. My phone was always dead because I wasn't even thinking about charging no phone. And if I did charge the phone, the ones that would call, I would talk and stuff like that. And didn't even worry about charging the phone. I go to sleep, put the phone down. And when I did, it'll be a few hours later. I had to really make myself go to sleep after.
Did you go into a deep depression? Or it was just like a regular, like a normal depression that you've been through with another death of somebody else?
No, I didn't go into a deep depression because a deep depression, you're not gonna respond for a while later. It's just that it was just a sudden death that got me. And I can't say I was depressed. No, I wasn't depressed. It just was a shocker. It was a shocker. It was a shocker like when my daddy died. That was a shocker because it happened so quick. And
how your daddy died?
For it at the park. Ball hit him in the chest.
What?
So when Nehemiah died, that brought memories back. But I just had to keep holding on and holding on. You really have to pray.
Yes, indeed.
For things like this, you have to keep praying. Constantly praying to get your strength, to get the support.
How old were you when your daddy died? He died in 84?
I had to be about 19, maybe 19.
Oh, okay. What's some of the best memories that you have of Nehemiah?
The best memories? Running around in the house with his little sister. They're running around the house, because the way the house made, you can go around corner to corner. And she hiding and screaming, Mama, make him stop, Mama, make him stop. Another memory was, I had a little chihuahua, and the little chihuahua couldn't stand Nehemiah. And it would constantly try to bite him or growl at him. And going to the store and get the cards for Mother's Day, Christmas, birthday. Sometimes you'll just sneak them. Or, Mama, I need this. The talks that we had about God. Now, he was strong with God. Mm-hmm. And he would ask me questions, and I would tell him. Because before he died, I was praying. And God gave me a word. And Nehemiah was in the house. And he asked me a question. And I told him, I said, yeah, Nehemiah, I know. That's what I answered him, I know. And he got on the subject about what I would do. I said, well, Nehemiah, let me tell you one thing. We're going to live. We're going to die. We was put on this earth to live, but because of sin of Adam and Eve, that dampened the whole spirit, changed everything around. I said, but you got to keep the faith, love God, constantly pray. He said, Mama, I pray when you don't even know I'm praying. I get on my knees every night to talk to my God and the God that I serve. Mm-hmm. So that was a memory. And that's why he had that praying hand, like that emphasized with his head down, with the praying hand.
I see you got your shirt on.
Oh, this is the shirt. One of the last pictures me and him took right here.
Where y'all took that picture at?
In front of Closby at the house. We had gave this big old block party.
Oh, okay.
And that's the picture when he was hugging me. And that's the picture. The cross, this cross is a cross he always wore. This represents eyes on you. And this is the necklace that my son made after he died. That's so nice. Sometimes I just would keep, hold some of these things, just remember it, not to pray, because it can't do no good, just to remember it. Another good memory of Nehemiah was that big, beautiful smile he had.
Light up a room.
Beautiful smile. His ways. He had some nice, good ways. All those had dampened spirits. We say dampened spirits. He loved to do for people.
All the time.
All the time.
If there was anything that you could tell the world about the death of a child, what would that be?
My words for all parents that have lost a child. I know how you feel. I know what you're going through. I know it's hard. But you just have to remember, God is always there with you. You're going to need the support. You're going to need the love. You're going to need the prayers. You're going to need the strength. I never thought I would bury a child. I always thought my children would be burying me. It's hard. So any parents out there, trust me. I can feel their pain. I can feel their ache. I can imagine how they sleep, not sleeping, trying to sleep, but they can't. But enjoy the memories. Don't dwell on the bad memories. Don't dwell on things people say in the street. Think about your child as your child. The good memories going to carry you through.
That's right.
If you dwell on the bad memories or things that went wrong in their life, it's going to hurt you. It's going to weaken you. So dwell on the good memories and keep praying.
I know you came to the halfway honors ball that I host every year this year. Do you feel like that helped you in any way?
Yes, it did, because somebody else needs to know your story. And I'm in a process right now where we're trying to get a non-profit organization in Nehemiah memory.
Uh-huh.
It's just been moving slow because we got to get the right one. And that non-profit organization, we want to help support the community, which he always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Help with the school kids, give out school clothes and supplies. Help the families in the area or the parish that we know about that have a child that has died from murder, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, vehicle homicide, even if they was badly injured and the family need help, to try to help the family.
And that is one of the biggest ways that you turn your hurt into harvest.
That's
you
right.
turn what happened, your past, into purpose. Because God gives everything that happens with purpose. And if Nehemiah had not died, you wouldn't want to even start a nonprofit in honor of his name, because he'll still be here.
Yeah,
you wouldn't even have the thought to do those things for people that even happened to like you, but it happened to you. For God give you a reason. It's a reason for everything, and God gave you purpose, a plan with purpose.
That's
and you
correct.
have a plan with purpose. All you have to do is follow through, and everything will come together.
Everything will come together. I was already in the process talking about a nonprofit organization to help people, because I see what's going on in the community. Things that need to be done is not getting done. I always was the type of person, I always wanted to help somebody. But with this tragedy, it's going to put more spark and push for us to do what we really have to do.
Right. And that's keeping his name alive, keeping his memories, and
correct.
keeping him at heart. And the memories is the thing that is what lasts forever. That's what lasts forever. I remember seeing him the day before, earlier that day, by Miss Wanda's house when he got killed. And I gave him a hug. That was my last time seeing him. I got to Thibodeau soon, like maybe an hour later. I jumped up out the bed. I said, something don't feel right. And I got the phone call. Somebody just got killed. I said, who was it? They didn't know. I got a phone call 5 minutes later. It was the news. I was like, no. But everything that happens for a reason, and God shows us everything, regardless of how much people try to hide things, regardless of how much people try to tell lies and stories, that always come out. Always.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, eventually. It could be 10 years down the line. But, yeah, definitely. And everybody have to die. So whoever it was, whatever the situation was, they got to see God. At the end of the day.
That's
They
correct.
have to see God.
That's correct.
Like, you can't do anything about it, but God can do all things.
All things.
He can do all things.
That's correct. Now, before we go, if it would have been a bakery open, it's his birthday, I'd have got on the phone and ordered a cake and put happy birthday Nehemiah on it, just in memory. And I'll be eating that cake, and we'll probably sitting there and say, you want a piece, Nehemiah? You want a piece? But sometimes I think about it, I say, God, I'm praying my child is up there with heaven with you, praying and worshiping, glorifying your name. And looking this and look down on this world. He was probably saying, if he in heaven with God, we'll probably telling God, I don't want to go back to that.
Yes, indeed.
This is a treacherous, sinful world. But I always remember that big old smile.
And memories is everything.
Memories is
bigger
everything.
than a picture.
That's
a memory is bigger than a picture.
That is so correct.
Any day. Love your people while you can.
While you can.
Regardless of what people say, what people think, what people do, love your people. Always, always love your people. And regardless of whatever different kind of struggles they might have, whatever different kind of troubles they might be going through, pray for them. Prayers work. Prayers really do work. And people always say time heals wounds. Biggest lie ever told. Time does not heal wounds at all. It could be 30 years down the line and it could still feel like yesterday. But the only thing that heals anything is getting closer to God.
Closer to God.
When you get closer to God, the further you get away from that hurt. And you learn how to getting closer to God in time help you heal. Helps you heal.